members of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, staff of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, sanitation service providers of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. This is a press statement by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly in response to the President's vision of making Accra the cleanest city in Africa. On the 23rd April 2017, the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, made a public declaration of the government's vision to make Accra the cleanest city and, by extension, the most beautiful city of Africa. To be clear, the vision is not merely to keep Accra clean. It is to make the city of Accra cleaner and more beautiful than Nairobi in Kenya. It is a vision to which existing action plans and practices may not be able to attain. The vision requires a sea change in policy, action plans, city cleaning approaches, enforcement mechanisms, and attitudes. Being managers of the city of Accra, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, in support of the policy directives of the Ministry of Sanitation, wish to assure the President that we see his vision as realistic and achievable within the time frame and ready to take on the challenge. The President's vision is coming against the background of 2015 Joint Report of World Health Organization and United Nations Children's Fund that ranked Ghana the 7th dirtiest country in the world. It is hard to deny the enormity and urgency of the sanitation challenge of Accra that has been petrifying Accra city dwellers for decades. Clean means clean. It means zero tolerance for filth, pollution, and unauthorized developments. It also means high citywide appetite for clean environment, clean water, and orderly developments. Leapfrogging from the dirtiest to the cleanest in Africa is undeniably an uphill task and requires a lot more than slogans, rhetorics, speeches, and sound bites. Even though these may be important on occasions to shape behaviors and mobilize support for the vision, this vision will be achieved if residents, visitors, religious bodies, businesses, development partners requires a kind of concerted leadership, commitment, and attitudes by all that overtly different from the kind and created, encouraged, and tolerated the scholar in the first place. It also requires unbending political will. The President has set the tone. The ministry will give policy directions, and AMA will take it forward. We will work concurrently with capable private sector sanitation enterprises and other partners to supplement the efforts of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly in implementing the Clean Accra Charter and Accra plans and action plans that will aid the realization of the vision. We will be tough on excessive generation and indiscriminate disposal of all types of waste, solid, liquid, medical, hazardous emissions, as well as land, water, and atmospheric pollution. We will not renege on our efforts at stopping the disposal of dirty oil into the soil by automobile mechanics, incessant burning of e-waste on bare ground, and disposal of untreated biomedical waste into the ground without treatment. In pursuit of this vision, our focus will be on waste management, beautification of the city, and law enforcement. On waste management, we will look at waste prevention and reduction. The first step to ridding the city of filth and pollution is to prevent or cut back on waste generation at the source. The vast majority of the city's waste comes from the type of materials and methods used in producing the products we use or consume, packaging and construction. Many of these are non-reusable, non-biodegradable, and sometimes harmful to human health. We shall work with the relevant bodies and partners to reduce the use of non-compostable materials such as plastics in the design and manufacturing of products, carrier bags, and packaging. Companies within the city must begin to rethink the way products are designed, manufactured, and packaged, bearing in mind the need to reduce waste and use ingredients that are safely reusable, recyclable, or returnable to the natural system. Importers must do likewise. Dignified disposal of waste. We are galvanizing a very strong public objection against undignified waste disposal in the city. It is important that we shift our mindset and openly condemn undignified garbage disposal, including littering of streets, gutters, and public places, open defecation, dumping of untreated effluent and industrial waste into the Odo, Korle Lagoon, and other water bodies, and so forth. There will be sustained public education on acceptable cleanliness practices. On the part of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, we shall continue to work with our sanitation service providers, private sector partners, NGOs, and international partners to widen access to convenient, safe, sustainable, and culturally appropriate, dignified sanitation facilities and services. To this end, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly's policy of polluter pays system has that waste generators are responsible for the disposal of the waste they generate. Under this policy, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly's area is currently divided into 15 zones and outsourced to 11 private sanitation service providers as underlisted. Metropolitan Waste and Allied Services is in charge of part of Ablekuma Central Sub-Metro, part of Okankwe North Sub-Metro, part of Ablekuma South Sub-Metro. Liberty Waste Services is in charge of part of Ablekuma South Sub-Metro. Tropical Waste Services is also in charge of part of Ashedu Keteke Sub-Metro. Jacora Ventures Limited is fully in charge of Osu Klote Sub-Metro. Mestworld Company Limited is in charge of part of Ashedu Keteke Sub-Metro. Platinum Municipal Services is in charge of part of Ayawaso East Sub-Metro. Yafuru Waste Services is in charge of part of Okankwe North Sub-Metro. J. Stanley Owusu and Co. Limited is in charge of Okankwe Sub-Metro as a whole. Aite Brothers Company Limited is in charge of part of Ayawaso East Sub-Metro. Asadu Royal Seed Limited is fully in charge of Ablekuma North Sub-Metro. And Zoom Lion Domestic Services is in charge of Ayawaso West Sub-Metro, Ayawaso Central Sub-Metro, and part of Ablekuma Central Sub-Metro. As part of the above scheme, there will be an intensified distribution of garbage bins in the city of Accra. This will tremendously ensure convenient and reliable household waste collection and dignified waste disposal. We are therefore directing all residents. We shall commission a new transfer station at Achimota, owned by a private sanitation company, to provide an additional site for trucks and tricycles to dump waste. This will reduce the distance for carting waste to the final disposal site. It is important to note that operating waste and the dumping sites without permit is illegal, and there will be effective enforcement. We wish to assure the general public that all unapproved refuse heaps anywhere in the city will be evacuated and closed down permanently. Fly tipping, that is dumping of garbage or large items onto unapproved sites or places, will be met with prosecutions or large fines. A dedicated WhatsApp hotline numbered 0202 464444. I repeat, 0202 464444 or 0202 464411 are the hotlines for reporting and sending photographic evidence of fly tipping within AMA. We must be citizens and not spectators. Citizen dwellers must be the watchdogs and ensure that undignified waste disposals are photographed and reported to AMA for immediate action. Daily sanitary inspection, in which environmental health inspectors conduct house-to-house inspections of potential waste generation centers such as households, institutions, markets, medical facilities, and so forth, to check whether laws on health and hygiene are adhered to, will be invigorated. Offenders will be prosecuted uncompromisingly or face huge fines. It is important to note that offenders can be jailed. Public patronage of the National Sanitation Day, which falls on the first Saturday of every month, is waning woefully. To ensure compliance, the AMA will pay attention to inspection and enforcement of its bylaws on every National Sanitation Day. There will be a special sanitation inspection and enforcement on every sanitation day. We note with concern the nuisance that the unlicensed waste collection tricycles have been causing in the city. Steps are underway to regulate their operations. The Assembly is also directing that the erecting of illegal structures, including billboards and signages, and selling at unauthorized places should cease forthwith. Over the past few days, the Assembly has started clearing the Kwame Nkrumah interchange of such structures and traders, and we intend to extend this exercise to cover all areas within the metropolis. It is also paramount that residents of Accra change their attitude towards the storage and disposal of their household waste. It must be emphasized that without change of attitude, it will be impossible to achieve the vision that we have set for ourselves. Among other things that we intend to do is to increase reuse and recycle of waste. We encourage, educate, or recycle culture to reduce the volume of waste that needs to be disposed. Don't throw it if it can be reused or recycled. The ultimate vision of the sanitation agenda is to beautify Accra. In addition to being clean, Accra must look attractive at all times to give residents and visitors a sense of pride. Beautiful cities attract talents, investments, and economic activities, thereby increasing the city's unique contribution to the nation's GDP. Beautification is also a known driver of tourism, which in turn enhances business activities in the city. To this end, we shall soon publish the Accra City Beautification Plan, which will lay out our plans for promoting stunning architectural designs urban landscaping, beautification of open spaces, and tree planting activities, among others. We must enforce our bylaws. Our existing bylaws will be stringently enforced. However, in view of the new vision, we have noted that some of our bylaws will need revision to bring them in line. We have therefore initiated a holistic review of the bylaws. As part of this review, penal consequences for breaching the laws of the city will be heightened. Offenders will no longer be handled with kid gloves. There will be an ongoing public education to make the public aware of the requirements of the law. In conclusion, it is time for us to rise to the challenge of making Accra the cleanest city in Africa. It is a realistic and achievable vision, but it is one that requires concerted efforts. AMA, in collaboration with its partners, pledges to show leadership and commitment to the cause, and we show tangible progress in the coming weeks. I thank you all for your time and attention. It is our wish that the media will take up the challenge as part of your corporate social responsibility and make the vision a reality. We call on all to publicly endorse the President's vision for the city as a sign of a commitment to doing what is within our means to make Accra the cleanest city in Africa.